Good evening. I'd like to call this meeting for the city of San Juan at 6 p.m. May we rise for invocation. Mr. Arjona, can you lead us, sir? Flag for Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Under public comments, we have Tomás. Pásale, Mr. Tomás.
Sí, buenas tardes a todos.
Buenas tardes.
Mi motivo de venir aquí nada es para darle las gracias al señor mayor Mario Garza por habernos facilitado los contenedores en la colonia Loma Linda para tirar el yonquerío que había ahí en las casas de nosotros. Y otro problemita más, que no se nos olvide la calle Siux, señor Mario. Les encargamos mucho.
Okay.
Es todo.
Sí, gracias.
Muchas gracias.
Hey, what street was that, Mayor?
Loma Linda.
But he said a street, is that Sioux Road?
Yeah, right off the Sioux Road.
Got it.
Flor Prado.
Buenas tardes, mi nombre es Flor Pardo y estamos aquí para agradecimiento sobre el apoyo que nos han dado en la colonia pues, de nosotros en la Cancún, más que nada ahí. Y nomás que nos apoyen, que si nos pueden seguir uso con los de la perrera para que nos ayuden a levantar los animales. Y pues agradecerle al señor Arjona por habernos ayudado la vez pasada en una diche grande de agua que se estaba tirando, que tenía el mes y no nos querían ayudar. Y gracias a usted por el apoyo que nos dio, porque sin usted no lo hubiéramos hecho. Entonces, así como nos están apoyando, nosotros los apoyamos a ustedes cuando ustedes también ocupen. Es todo.
Gracias, ma'am. Muchas gracias.
Say for the record, on that particular water break, it was a North Alamo, but we actually contacted North Alamo with the help of Mr. Salinas, and they came over and helped us out with that.
So we fixed it.
Yes, well, they fixed it, but yeah, but we had to call them.
Blanca.
Gracias. Buenas tardes. Mi nombre es Blanca Alcaraz. Soy organizadora de la Unión del Pueblo Entero y vengo aquí también acompañando a mis compañeros y de igual manera agradecer a la ciudad de San Juan, al mayor Mario Garza por estarnos apoyando en los problemas con la colonia. No nada más en esta colonia de la Loma Linda, hay otras colonias también que se nos ha apoyado con los problemas de basura que tenemos y pues por eso estamos aquí. Así como en otras ocasiones hemos venido también a pedirles el apoyo, ahora también estamos aquí para agradecerle y pedirles que así sigamos trabajando, ¿verdad?, en conjunto para que nos sintamos más orgullosos de ser de San Juan, porque yo me siento muy contenta de vivir ahí, pero vivir en una ciudad que vemos que está progresando. Entonces, muchas gracias y esperamos que sigamos contando con el apoyo de todos ustedes, no nada más con el mayor. Gracias.
Gracias, Blanca. Anybody else, Brenda? No, we're good? Okay. Mr. Omero, go ahead, sir. You can come to the podium.
Buenas tardes a todos. Primeramente, también vengo con el grupo de vecinos de ahí de Loma Vista. Somos varios vecinos que nos hemos reunido en varias ocasiones ya para hablar de temas que afectan el área, ¿verdad? Y nomás reiterar, ¿verdad? Como decían los compañeros, agradecidos con las personas que han trabajado con nosotros, especialmente al mayor Mario Garza. Y también quisiera tomar la oportunidad para agradecer al señor Juan Soto por su trabajo que ha hecho también con la ciudad, ¿verdad? Yo sé que él tiene un buen equipo que lo respalda porque siempre son los que nos juntan las ramas, la basura. Y puedo ver yo una actitud muy positiva de las personas que han pasado por mi casa, ¿verdad? Levantando la basura, las ramas. Me tomo a veces un tiempo para salir, saludarlos, porque al final del día podemos decir que sí, tienen su salario, pero también se necesita el reconocimiento del público, de cada ciudadano. Entonces, con eso quiero nada más animarlos a cada miembro de la comisión a estar abiertos y echarle ganas, ¿verdad? Porque vemos un crecimiento que es inevitable y es bien importante para el futuro de nosotros, de nuestros hijos. Y con eso también, una cosa más, yo sé que se nos había avisado que iban a continuar el trabajo en las calles ahí de la Loma Vista y Loma Verde. No sé qué pasó, ¿verdad? Pero iban a empezar el mes pasado. Y nada más sí queremos que sea una prioridad más que nada porque obviamente las calles son las que usamos todos los días para ir al trabajo, para ir a la escuela, y nuestros hijos obviamente, ¿verdad? Pero otra vez, muchas gracias y hay que seguir para adelante.
Gracias. Okay. Ready? You want to go? Yeah, I guess Mr. Commissioner Cantu.
Good evening, Mayor Commissioners. If we can, Mayor, change the order of the date. I'd like to go straight to the item under discussion and possible action on the item G, which is consider an approval budget amendment reflecting the 2021 mini rescue grant from the Hidalgo County Emergency Service District. Is that the one, Chief? Yes. Number 4, in the amount of $131,980 for the purchase of a 2021 Ford F-350 Super Squad from Water Apparatus. Chief, you want to come to the podium? At this point, I'd like to, as you know, Commissioner Eddie Cantu is here. Thank you for coming. He's been instrumental in making this happen as to the purchase and the acquisition of this particular apparatus. So thank you so much, Chief.
Mayor, Commissioners,
Good afternoon, sir.
what's presented here is part of some funding that was allocated under the Precinct 2 with Commissioner Eddie Cantu under the Emergency Service District Number 4. We were able to secure these funds, and of course, you all haven't taken action on it, but I just wanted to give the Commissioner a token of appreciation as he's always assisted us with either equipment or any type of funding that we request. This fire district was inactive for 2 years, and when Commissioner came in, he took the right approach and appointed a board, and they came in running, and we were able to approach them and secure these funds. I just wanted to give them a token of appreciation on behalf of the city and the fire department for Commissioner Eddie Cantu. Take a picture. Take a picture.
I didn't bring my.
Thank you.
Platforms. I know you can't tell, but I am.
All right, thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner.
Bye-bye.
Yeah. Motion.
So move. Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, Commissioner. Appreciate it, sir.
We can go back, Mayor, to
Sure,
the
go ahead.
beginning. Again, staff, community members, good evening. The first item under presentations, tonight we have the presentation of departmental reports. Tonight with the Department of Planning and Zoning, Department of Parks and Recreation, Department of Sanitation, and San Juan Memorial Library. Every director is here. Should you have any questions for them? But before I start, Mayor, I just want to make a quick announcement. Next week on Wednesday, we have the groundbreaking for the Olive Garden, Chili's, and Starbucks. Will be taking place just west of Denny's. Everybody's welcome to come over and attend. It's a groundbreaking. It's going to be a tremendous one. Again, it's Olive Garden, Chili's, and Starbucks. So congratulations to you all for helping us out and making the right decisions and driving us in the right direction, along with the ADC board. So thank you so much and congratulations on this accomplishment.
Mayor, if I may.
Go ahead.
I have a suggestion, Mr. Arjona, if maybe we can do this from here on forward. I see that we have the minutes for the planning and zoning. If we could do that for all our committees when they present and have it in our packet, their meeting minutes from when they meet. That way, sometimes we don't know everything that's going on in the particular department. Like we have PAL, Parks and Rec, the library board. if maybe we can have their meeting minutes in our packets for when they present, so we can just stay up to date on what's going on with them. Thank you.
Any other questions for the directors?
Mr. Soto, you have the cleanup this weekend, right? On Saturday, the 12th? And the 4 locations for drop-off will be where?
Out behind City Hall, Reed Mock, Amigo de Valle, and OPD.
You'll have trucks out and about also, right?
Yes,
Doing
we
some
will.
of the neighborhood cleanups. It'll be till 12 o'clock?
12 o'clock.
12 o'clock, okay,
Yes.
thank you. One more.
As far as on the social media part, in reference to the sanitation department, just make sure you guys stress on there what they can throw, what, you know what I'm saying? Just to kind of let the citizens know, so that way they don't take, debris from a house or something. I mean, I don't know if that's allowed, but you know what I'm saying? Just kind of educate them. Oh, okay. I guess, I don't know, my question, I have a question in regards to the courts, but it's not on here, so do you want me to wait, or? The only question I have, Mary, in reference to the courts is I got 2 calls in reference to citizens who wanted to pay their citation over the phone. Now, I know I had asked you in the past in regards to that. Have we looked into that, or have we even taken care of? Because they're not able, somehow they called the courts and they told them they can't take the payment over the phone. Where are we at on that?
At one point, Mayor, I think one of the issues was we were having issues with the phone line that goes to one of those machines, and that was being fixed. That was a couple of weeks ago, very recently. But they do have the opportunity to pay online as well.
Okay.
But if they do call in, I'll get with Mary and her team to make sure that everything flows right with the machine, and they understand what to put in, the account number or the credit card number, and also the 3-digit PIN that goes on the back, so they can do that thing.
Yeah, because a lot of people, there's several, individuals out there that don't have access to a computer, so that's why I'm bringing this up. I know I brought this up in the past before, and I did receive 2 phone calls, and they weren't able to pay over the phone. So, this is money that's, we can capture, for the city, for the court system. So I appreciate if you guys can move on that as soon as possible, okay? Any other questions?
I do. It's not on here. It's also for Chief Morin. Got a concern or call about that Chaparral area, maybe towards the back of Chaparral, that area, just so we could issues or they brought it to my attention about about police presence or something in that area. Can you check into that, please? Specifically, in
What
that
exactly
area,
are the issues?
the Chaparral area. Lack of seeing police patrol stuff. That was the call that came in, and gentleman that works at where I work at approached me and started. He did that before, and then now he came back, and as a matter of fact, it was today when he asked me, just around that area. Wasn't furious or anything, but did notice non-presence in that area. So I just wanted to, maybe you can look into that or see if there was or not, or check
Absolutely.
into that, please.
Yeah,
We have a east, but it's too small.
Yeah.
yeah,
But
so.
mainly west, because it's the longest west
Yes, sir.
side. Probably west
Yeah.
side, chief. Okay.
Okay. And just to.
He
just-
brought it up, so I just.
It's not a problem, just to reassure that I can attest to that we do have patrol there. I do live in that area,
Huh?
and I've seen our units out there.
Okay,
So-
well, my duty just to bring it up, just to make sure.
Okay, we'll go ahead and move on. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, I have one more question. Have all the vendors and all the sponsors been contacted for the Noche de Paz? Because I did have a few calls last week regarding them. So regarding the sponsorships from the 2 days, was everybody already contacted by now, or where are we at?
Contacted, and as a matter of fact, they did all of the payments already, Mr. Gonzalez? Friday. Every vendor, every sponsor is.
Friday?
Now, there's some vendors that opted not to. because they were given an option, either you get the reimbursement of the 1 day or you keep it for the following event, where they don't have to pay a penny.
For the following event?
Right, for the following event.
Okay.
4th of July or even Noche de Paz. On the
No,
next
I
one.
know that, but, okay, all right.
Okay, I'm gonna ask a couple of tough questions. When did we start contacting them? Because this happened December 18th, and we're now first week in February. So when did we start contacting them on our customer service end? Last week. Was there a reason for the delay? Were we waiting for
As a matter
something?
of fact, we were just working on the details as far as the report goes on the Noche de Paz. We're still, something like that. Right. So, yes, so reports are pretty much working on that?
Yes, we'll have a full report by the next meeting. There's just 2 items left to get from the promoter.
I guess when you provide that report with the detail of who our sponsors were also, and if you can also provide that with the spasmatics from the 4th of July, because we haven't received any type of report from that event. So if we can get that together, if possible, for our next meeting, so we can review that. Thank you.
That one's already ready. That one's ready.
Yes, the next one on the public hearing, we have hold a public hearing for a conditional use permit to allow a kettle corn portable food stand at the San Juan HEB located 901 West Interstate Highway Number 2, legally described as Lot 2, HEB San Juan Unit 2, subdivision is requested by Melissa Martinez. Mr. Tijerina?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Commission, this item we held, Ms. Martinez is present here in the audience this evening, and she's applying as Mr. Arjona just read, for a conditional use permit to allow a kettle corn portable food stand outside of San Juan HEB. A letter from HEB representative is attached to the packet granting Ms. Martinez, her customers, and her staff permission to use the restrooms. The following is a list of requirements, and they're there in case you want to refer to them, or if you want me to read them, I'll do so. There's water and sewer disposal connections for this mobile home. I'm sorry, for the portable food stand, and they were vendors at the Noche de Paz event, and a lot of individuals were asking them about if they were going to locate somewhere else. So they obtained permission from HEB. We mailed out 15 notices to property owners within a 200-foot radius of the property. And no, we did not receive any comments in favor or against this request. So staff recommends approval subject to compliance with the requirements outlined in the attached report. This is a public hearing, and the applicants are here, and if there are any questions, I'm here.
I'm gonna go ahead and open this up at 6:18 PM. Is there anyone here for or against? For or against? I guess the only question I have, sir, is I noticed that the HEB permit is only a year, right? Is this something that they're gonna have to, yeah, every year, obviously, right? Okay. My next, where exactly is it gonna be parked? Is it like right in the entrance or to the side?
We had that question, and Ms. Martinez explained that there's a location with a pad there and with all the connections to water and sewer right close to the entrance of the HEB entrance. Yes, sir.
Other HEBs have trucks out there, site for it. Good.
Any other questions? Not, I'm gonna go ahead and close this at 6:19 PM. Is there a motion to approve?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, sir.
The next item, hold a public hearing for a conditional use permit for the sale of on-site consumption of alcoholic beverages, wine and beer at the proposed Olive Garden restaurants to be located at 1403 East IH2, legally described as Lot 2, Plaza San Juan subdivision, as requested by Olive Garden Holding LLC.
Mr. Arjona, City Commission, Olive Garden Holdings is applying for a conditional use permit for the sale and on-site consumption of beverages, which include wine and beer for on-site consumption. at the proposed Olive Garden restaurant to be located just west of Denny's Restaurant. The applicant will need to comply with TABC requirements. They did agree to pay the annual fee to the city of San Juan to maintain the alcohol license, conditional use and occupational licenses, as well as the health permits. The proposed hours of operation are Sunday through Thursday from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. and Friday and Saturday from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. We did send out 3 notices to people within a 200-foot radius. We didn't hear any comments in favor or against this request. I did speak to a representative of Olive Garden that was interested in being here tonight, but they're of course in favor of this request. We did present this to the Planning and Zoning Commission, and we are recommending approval as is the Planning and Zoning Commission, subject to compliance with the requirements outlined in the reports attached. And if I may point out, Mayor, on page 2, there's a little table in the middle. It tells you the building area, 7,834 square feet, seats and dining, 255 seats, and parking spaces, 55 parking spaces. So it's going to be a nice facility. And with all that being said, this is a public hearing, and if there's any questions.
Open this up at 6:21 p.m. Is there anyone here for or against? For or against? Any questions from the members of the commission? Not, I'll close this at 6:21 p.m. Is there a motion approved? So moved. I'll second that. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, sir.
Next item, hold a public hearing for rezoning request from Neighborhood Commercial District C1 to General Business District C2 of the property legally described as lots 19 through 21, Block 4, Tierra del Sol Incorporated, Number 2 subdivision located in the northeast corner of 7th Street and Veterans Boulevard, is requested by Perla Castillo. Mr. Tigrina.
Mayor and City Commissioners. At the City Commission meeting on October 26, 2021, the City Commission tabled the item and requested more information about the proposed use of the property. And also, additionally, on November 18, 2021, Commission took no action. And there were some directives given by the council to look into a traffic study at that location. Ms. Castillo is applying to rezone the property into general business district, which is, it's already zoned commercial, Mayor, C1. So she's proposing to go C2. Property is located at the northeast corner of 7th Street and Veterans Boulevard next to Popeye's Snow Cone Stand. The property is currently zoned C1, neighborhood commercial, which allows retail businesses which supply the adjacent areas with like dairy products, clothing, office, dental uses, and things of such manner. The surrounding properties consist of a mixture of residential, multifamily, and commercial uses, and Veterans Boulevard is conducive of commercial traffic. Staff mailed out 53 notices to property owners within 200-foot radius, and we have not received anything at our office in favor or against this request. I just want to note a couple of things, Mayor. This is a rezoning request. We do not have any details as to what is proposed. And also, I wanted to point out there in your packets, if you look at the zoning map, Mayor, we could see a couple of things that are important. This map here in color, it has the location, which is commercial C1, and we have all this is C2, and just south is C2 on 7th Street. Also, over here on Sam Houston, we have C2 business district zonings in place already. So once again, just this is a rezoning request, so we don't have any details, site plans or anything like that. During the regular meeting on October 21st, 2021, the Planning and Zoning Commission unanimously recommended approval of the rezoning request with a 5-0 vote, and staff is recommending approval. This is a public hearing, Mayor. If you have any questions.
Question.
Yes,
Now,
ma'am.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead and open this up at 6:25 PM. Is there anyone here for or against? For or against? You can come to the podium, sir. Please state your name for the record.
My name is Rigoberto Hernandez, and I have a question on this. I live right in the corner of 701. I Road in 7th. My question is, do we know yet what kind of business is going to be there? No?
No,
Okay.
we don't know yet.
Okay, and the main thing is, you know where I live in the corner? So it's my incoming exit in my house. So my concern is whether they're just going to go to that business, whatever it might be. We have no problem with the rezoning, fine. My head's off to anybody who wants to make a business, that's fine. I have my own business myself in Alamo. The thing is that we have enough problems like at 8 o'clock in the morning every day, the traffic flow right there in the corner. So that is our biggest concern, me and my neighbors. And like you know where I live, right in the corner, so it's going to be it's as bad as it is right now. And I don't know if you all have done a traffic survey, anything of any kind. How, we discussed that last time we were here.
Yeah, we got it.
So you're working on that? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yeah.
but right now, number one, you don't know what kind of business is going to be.
No,
yet.
sir, at this time, we don't.
And me and my family, I mean, like I used, it's a big issue right there, the interest in coming and going. So I don't know if the X is going to be exactly where, I know you cannot go to the alley, okay? So again, we have no problems with the rezoning. Where is the exit or the interest for that business? So as long as you all know that, I mean, it's, because I lived there for 30 years and I'm not going to move because of that, okay? And another thing, last time I mentioned también, the traffic is very bad, speeding, I don't know if you'll, speed bumps, okay?
On 7th Street?
Yeah, on 7th Street,
Okay.
going eastbound to Coyle. Not bad, it's real bad. That's how we discussed that también, and if you can stop there at 8 o'clock in the morning, it's just not your fault, but I'm just saying that I'm addressing this because we discussed that last time, and that's one thing, speed bumps. My concern is our interest next on my house, to Sayasi, and I've been there 30 years. I'm not going to move because of that. Again, no problem with the rezoning, but we would like to have some more information on the next meeting or whatever, okay? Está bien? Yes, sir. All right, thank you very much, appreciate your time.
Anyone else here for or against? Any questions, member?
We have another one.
Go ahead, sir. State your name for the record, sir.
My name is Manuel Garcia Jr., and I reside at 823 West 7th Street. And I had some, we were here before initially. The planning did a Zoom meeting back before October. But that was, so I think I called and they said they had a Zoom meeting, and I understood because of the situation the way it is now, still. And then in October, which was the last time we addressed the commission, we presented our concerns, of course. And we understood that, at least I did, that there was going to be a study by the plan department. That's been October, November, December, January, 4 months. And then when I got this letter, I said, well, okay. So I just wonder what was the study, what was the result of the study that was made within the 4-month period, and what were the conclusions, or what was taken into consideration. And it's just an application, I understand that. My main concern is basically that it's not that is the traffic again. And the type of business, the person that put this in the agenda is a realtor. So is the person here? You're the realtor, okay. So we don't know exactly what's going to be built there, which is, I guess, that's within the purview of the law, I guess, or the statute. Then we're like, what's going to happen, right? And what is it that you cannot build within the present zoning that you need to modify, and I should do a spot zoning to a certain degree, right? Because you're allowing, or we will allow something that does not meet the C1. So that's basically some of my concerns. And of course, Mr. Lariz, he lives behind there, and I'm not talking for him, but he wanted to come over and listen to me. So I just wanted to see if to share our concerns, and since we don't have all the information, and I think this is something that you will take into consideration and look at this thing a little bit more closely, or I don't know whether at the time maybe decide to okay it. There are things as conditional use type of things, right? So, but I don't know whether the investment, or we don't know. We're all like pro-business, right? And we're glad we're growing, but we need to have good growth. So thank you very much for your listening, and we appreciate to take our consideration. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
The record, Mayor, I had a phone call about 2 days ago also. Naming Mr. Alvarado, I think it's your neighbor, Mr. Hernandez, Mr. Alvarado. Also concerning that he had received a letter, and he just told me that they had already designed it, or how if in case we approve or whatever was going to happen, if we can let them know later on. And he also asked me what type of business. He said, well, we don't know what type of business is going to be there. Just to let you guys know that Mr. Lara also was aware of it. I told him that we'll get back to him as soon as we get more answers. He said, okay, just for the record.
And I guess we all have the same sentiment up here, and we understand where we, as far as the studies go and stuff like that, and I believe they're working on it, right? I mean, we're going to get the conclusion.
As a matter of fact, the traffic count is
The first traffic count is here.
in your packet.
Now, we agree with you all as far as, your concerns. I do appreciate how, you all are working, coming up here gradually saying that you're pro-business and stuff like that. So there's a marriage that should happen between us and you guys, and to make sure everything. But as far as for this is just, am I right, Leo? This is just for the rezoning, correct? If at any time, at any time after the rezoning and stuff, whatever needs to be built or is in consideration of coming in and building or something like that, that's a whole different process that has to come through us, permits. That's when the same formal public discussion will occur with you guys to see what we can alleviate and to see how we can get it done in a proper way. Now, if it doesn't fit, just because it's zoned as, if we rezone it now, just because it's rezoned like that, it's still the commission and the city's decision whether it's going to be feasible to have it there or not. So just by, is that correct? Where I'm standing right? So we get rid of the whole premise of that with Mr. Tejirina, right? With the rezoning. So we just rezone it, that agenda-wise, no matter what, we still got to get presented to or proposed if and whatever wants to come in later on in the future? Okay.
At this time, it's just the rezoning. We don't, what's proposed later on, once if the rezoning is approved, then we get some site plan, and more than likely they're gonna need some sort of a conditional use permit. And that's where it comes before the planning commission. and then to the city
All that's
commission.
facilitated and regulated through you guys and of course concerns. See how we
Yes.
can, okay.
Yes, sir.
And since technically we don't know what the business is,
Yes,
if we
ma'am.
approve the C2, they can always come back and ask for a C1 again, if that's what the business would need,
Yes, ma'am.
whoever the buyer would
Yes,
be, and they
most
could come back and rezone again back to a C1.
Yes,
Since
ma'am.
technically we don't know what it is and who's buying it.
That's right. Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
So I guess Mr. Hernandez, Mr. Garcia, Mr. Alanis, right now it's just it's premature, you know, like how you mentioned, Mr. Hernandez, from a C1, C2. That's the only thing on the agenda. And just to kind of echo what Commissioner Markey was talking about, and Mr. Terina, the process is starting, but at the end of the day, later down the road, if someone is inquiring about that piece of property, at that point, we're gonna find out what kind of business is coming in. And by then, they gotta go through the process before it gets approved, right? And you will receive another letter informing you guys, or the people 200 radius, right? Feet radius, on what is gonna transpire there, okay? With the approval of the city commission, okay? So right now, just to state on the record, it's from a C1 to a C2. If this commission decides to approve it this evening, okay? Sure, all that, we're gonna talk about that as well. Yes, sir. Yes. Oh, okay, no problem. Okay,
I can guarantee you that the whole city commission will, with open ears and, you know, and we're willing to help as well. I mean, you're a constituent, so, yes, sir.
anything else? If not, I'm gonna close this at 6:37 PM. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries, and this is for a C1 to a C2. Okay, thank you. Thank you.
The next item, hold a public hearing for voluntary annexation petition of the 13.41 acre tract of land for Lot 14, Block 47, Alamo Land and Sugar Company subdivision, as per the map recorded in Volume 1, pages 24 through 26. Map records, Hidalgo County, Texas, requested by AAAR Family Ltd. Mr. Tejerina.
Thank you, Mayor and City Commissioners. The Planning Department is processing La Paloma subdivision, which is a residential subdivision located approximately a half mile west of Cesar Chavez along the north side of Nolana Avenue. Part of the subdivision is outside the city limits, the north portion of it. With that being said, but it's within the city of San Juan's extraterritorial jurisdiction. The city's policy is to annex subdivisions processed and approved within the city's ETJ. And on November 9th, 2021, the City Commission approved Resolution 2127, accepting the petition for voluntary annexation and setting dates and times for public hearings. The property owner of the subject property has submitted a petition for voluntary annexation to the city. Upon annexation, recording of the subdivision plat, building permits and inspections will be processed by the city for proposed residences. And there are some proposed commercial lots facing Nolana. And this is annexation of this property is being undertaken in accordance with the provisions of the Texas Local Government Code, Chapter 43, Municipal Annexation, Section 43.028, and the City Charter. This staff recommends approval of this public hearing as presented. So this is a public hearing, Mayor.
At this time, go ahead and open this up at 6:39 PM. Is there anyone here for or against? For or against? Any questions, members of the commission? I guess this is a comment for you, Mr. Arjona, in regards to, obviously, you know, we're gonna annex, right? So we're responsible for pretty much the services.
Services, exactly.
We need to sit down and figure out, you know, the growth. You know how I brought it up last time? And here in the future, in the next, coming closer, I guess, to the budget season. Because I mean, the city's growing tremendously. And with growth, that means more manpower, more machines. Am I correct?
So you're absolutely right. So as a matter of fact, Mr. Soto, did we get the trucks already for trash trucks? Have we got them yet, or we don't have
No, we
them
only
yet?
got 2 of them. We still need 2 more.
We got 2 already, so they're coming.
I just don't,
Yes.
I don't want,
What's that?
I don't want that matter to fall
Right.
through the cracks.
No.
Because-
And I think that this is
Yes,
something
sir.
that we spoke about during the budget process. And that's why we had those 4 additional trucks in anticipation of the growth. And also, we also have some staff members on the budgeted for this particular reason.
Perfect. This, I just don't want it to slide through the crack.
Okay.
Because that's very important. With that being said, I'll close that at 6:40 PM. Is there a motion to approve? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, sir.
The next item, hold a public hearing for a voluntary annexation petition of 24.85 acre tract of land of Lot 7 Stewart addition to the Conway Garden subdivision as per the map recorded in volume 0, pages 43, map records, Hidalgo County, Texas, requested by SCON Development. Mr. D.
Mr. Arjona.
Yes, sir.
Mayor and Commissioners, the Planning Department is processing another subdivision, the Orchards of San Juan, which is another residential subdivision located at the southwest corner of Stewart and Moore Road. Part of the subdivision is outside the city limits, but within the city of San Juan, similar to the first voluntary annexation request. And it's in our ETJ. It is the city's policy to annex subdivisions processed and approved within the city's ETJ. On November 23rd, 2021, the City Commission approved the Resolution 2129, accepting the petition for voluntary annexation and setting dates and times for public hearings. The property owner of the subject property has submitted a petition for voluntary annexation to the city, and upon annexation, recording of the subdivision plat, building permits and inspections will be processed by the city for proposed residences. Annexation of this property is being undertaken in accordance with the provisions of the Texas Local Government Code, Chapter 43, Municipal Annexations, and Section 43.028, that's a section, and the city charter. So at this time, staff recommends approval of the public hearing as presented. This is a public hearing, Mayor.
That being said, I'm gonna go ahead and open this up at 6:42 PM. Is there anyone here for or against? For or against? Any questions, members of the commission? Not, I'll close this at 6:42 PM. Is there a motion approved? I'll second that. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, sir.
Under discussion and possible action, we have considered preliminary and final plat approval of La Paloma subdivision, being a 20.83 acre tract of land out of Lot 14, Block 47, Alamo Land and Sugar Company subdivision located approximately a quarter of a mile west of Cesar Chavez Road along the north side of Nolana Avenue, is requested by Javier Hinojosa Engineering. Mr. Guerrero.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Commissioners. This is La Paloma subdivision, which is part of the first annexation that we just discussed. The developer's proposing to subdivide the 20.83 acres located approximately a quarter mile west of Cesar Chavez Road along the north side of Nolana. He's proposing 87 lots with 6 internal streets, and the subdivision will have 2 access points exiting onto Nolana Avenue. There are 7 proposed lots facing Nolana that are proposed for commercial use, and the rest of the properties for residential use. The flood zone information is AH, which is considered a flood zone according to FEMA map. However, as long as it's above the base point elevation, it should be fine, and if necessary, they can get an elevation certificate to build their homes higher. It is noted that part of the subdivision is located outside the city limits, but in the TJ, so as noted, we did receive a voluntary annexation for requests, so we have started the process. There was a concern regarding the right-of-way on Nolana, but we were able to hash that out. I checked with TxDOT, Precinct 2, and Sam's Engineering, which is the city engineer for the project. The engineer for the developer is Javi Hinojosa, so Javier Hinojosa helped me also as well to figure it out. Everything is fine on the right-of-way. Water services will be provided by North Alamo Water Supply. Sewer will be provided by the city of San Juan. hydrants will be placed every 300 feet according to the fire department, and the water line shall be looped to an 8-inch line. All entrances and exits must be 26 feet wide. The project engineer is requesting 5 variances to have to not comply with the required setbacks. They're proposing 5 for interior lots, where 6 is required, 15 for rear setbacks where 20 is required, and 15 in the front for cul-de-sac lots where 20 is required. And number 2, to not comply with 65 minimum width lot requirements for corner lots, and they're proposing 64 feet. Number 3, to not comply with 15-foot utility easements on the rear for all properties, they're proposing a 10-foot easement. Number 4, to not comply with a park fee. I think that one's already been taken care of by the city commission, so that one's a moot request, number 4. Number 5, to not comply with the commercial lot sizes for lots 1, 2, 41, and 42. They're rather small commercial lot spacing Olana. So staff presented this item to the planning commission, and we recommended approval subject to compliance with the list of requirements on the attached report and denial of the variances requested. However, the city commission has the final authority on every matter. So this is the subdivision information, and attachments are in there for your view. And if you have any questions, Mayor, I'd be happy to try and answer it. Or commission.
Right away, and
Yes, sir.
did you get with the county as well?
Yes, sir.
So how did that go?
Great. I spoke to Armando Garza,
Okay,
and he told me that it's fine. I also
so we wouldn't have any issues in regards with the county?
it's correct, sir.
And the reason why I say that, Mr. Daniel, because
Yes, sir.
I know at one point, well, I think as far as widening the Nolana, am I correct? Right? So that's why I bring that up,
Right.
because it's a project driven through the county.
Yes, sir.
And so I just wanted to make sure that you got with the county as well.
Yes, sir, I did, and
Okay,
we had a
good.
good discussion, and he told me why it's gonna be the 150 of right-of-way, which would be 75 from center each way, but it's gonna dip down in that area. But we're gonna get what's required by our charter, by the comprehensive plan, and he said. Sure.
Got it.
Getting on with the flood zone,
Yes,
they are
ma'am.
very aware of making sure that they do put these houses at the correct elevations, so- because it is considered the flood zone. Okay.
Any other questions? Not, is there a motion to approve? I'll second that. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Excuse me, Mayor, give me 1 second. I love it. Lot 1, Block 14, John Plaza subdivision, located approximately a quarter of a mile south of Fall Lake, and road along the east side of Veterans Boulevard, is requested by Quintanilla, Haley, and Associates Inc.
Thank you, Mr. Arjona. Mayor and city commissioners, once again, the developer's proposing is located approximately a quarter mile south of Hall Acres Road along the east side of Veterans Boulevard. He's proposing a 105 lot residential subdivision with 6 internal streets. The subdivision will have 2 access roads exiting onto Veterans Boulevard, and will also connect to Dominion Place subdivision Phase 1 to the east. And the flood zone in this area is B, areas of minimal flooding, according to FEMA map. Water and sewer services will be provided by the city of San Juan. Additional hydrants will be located every 500 feet based on, once we see the construction plans and the fire department looks at them. And the water line will be looped to an existing 8-inch water line as per the fire department as well. All entrances and exits must be 26 feet wide. Staff presented this to the planning commission, And we recommended approval subject to compliance with the list of items on the report. And in this case, there are no variances being requested, so everything is in the drainage report, and we're ready to hopefully get get infrastructure going and then the houses and everything. So this is before you.
Questions for Mr. Daniel? Okay, is there a motion to approve? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
The next item, discussion and possible action to approve a budget amendment in the amount of $250,000 in the utility fund retained earnings for the purchase of 3 submersible pumps for the Influent pump station at the wastewater treatment plant and the upgrade to lift station number 6, and authorize the mayor to execute all related documents. Mr. Salinas?
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners. 3 out of the 6 existing submersible pumps at lift station, at the Influent pump station for the wastewater plant are no longer repairable. One of them actually has a hole in the side of it. So in order to maintain the plant running till the rehab that's scheduled to happen to it gets done, we need to at least buy those 3 pumps just to keep it in place. What we're working right now is trying to see if there's a place to put those 3 pumps once the plant gets rehabbed, because we're eliminating that station and building a new one. But in the meanwhile, we need to have them. Construction is probably going to take anywhere from 18 months to 2 years once everything gets done. The 3 that are there right now, I need to get serviced, but I can't take them out because I need to have a minimum of 2 running all the time. And the 3rd one is a back one. So I need to get the other 3 in so I can get those 3 out, get serviced so they can continue to run before they completely fail, and I can actually repair them. The additional budget amendments on there is to make sure that what you were asking about, Mayor, that we continue to provide services on the north side for other development, because we need to increase the capacity for lift station number 6. That additional 100,000 or so that's in there will allow us to do what I'm calling a stopgap measure for lift station number 6, so we can add more capacity to that lift station, so we can allow the developments that they were just talking about right now, plus an additional 5 or 6 more developments that are coming that I'm pretty sure they're going to bring to your attention in the coming weeks. So that is what I'm asking for, and I'm recommending approval.
Good proactive, sir. I like that.
Very smooth. But this is, if we leave it like this, we're capping the growth over on the north side. With this addition or
This one will allow us
to grow.
to continue with the development that's on the table.
Right.
For future development, there's another item on the agenda that we need to talk about, which is a much bigger, more expensive project that's included along with the widening of Cesar Chavez. This one will allow us to continue to allow that La Paloma subdivision, Christian subdivision, the new Delia's Tamales factory that's coming up on the north.
Is there anything with the Texas Water Development Board where they can maybe?
That's the next item of the agenda. Part of the new Infrastructure Act is all coming through the state revolving funds, which is the clean water and the drinking water SRF. Yeah, so I'm asking the next agenda item and a couple of agenda items, I'm asking for authorization to submit what we call project information for Texas Water Development Board to get the funding.
And as a matter of those funds were given to us. Thank you for attending that meeting, Mr. Villegas, and you sent us that spreadsheet with all the different possibilities of different funding. So we're good on that, Mayor. We're on top of that as far as trying to acquire additional funding for these type of projects.
So,
Your motion to
that's a
approve?
recommendation.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, sir.
Next item is discussion and possible action to approve the price per ton increase for liquid ammonium sulfate from the Chemtrade Chemicals U.S. and authorize city manager to execute all related documents and budget amendment as required. Ms. Salinas?
Again, Commissioners, this is the last one I brought with DPC for the chlorine. Chemical costs continue to go up. Fortunately, this vendor sent us one. They had been absorbing most of our overages because we had a contract. They can no longer do that and continue to stay in business. So they've requested the increase. I did check around with some of the other cities, and the costs are in range of what they're asking us to do. And they're just trying to break even. They're just trying to survive until all this thing normalizes. So I'm recommending approval. Yes.
Is there a motion? All those in favor say aye. Motion carries. Thank you, sir.
The next item, discussion and possible action to authorize staff to submit a new and revised project information forms to the Texas Water Development Board for inclusion in the fiscal year 2023 Clean Water and Drinking Water State Revolving Funds intended use plan, and authorize the mayor and the city manager to execute all related documents and budget amendment as needed. Salinas.
As mentioned earlier, this is to submit the funding for the Texas Water Development Board for the Clean Water SF. This will give us authorization so we can start working with the engineers so we can get those submitted up to Texas Water Development Board. They need to be in by March 4th to meet the deadline. Like I was saying, the infrastructure funding is being channeled through the Clean Water SRF funds and the Drinking Water SRF funds this state. So I'm recommending approval also.
Approve. Is there a second? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, sir.
The next item, discussion and possible action to approve the engineering agreement for temporary upgrade to lift station number 6 from Cruz Hogan Engineers in the amount of $13,000 and authorize the mayor to execute all related documents and budget amendment as required.
Again, we talked about this earlier about lift station number 6 not having the capacity. Cruz Hogan is the engineer of record for this lift station. They're the ones that received the design funding for the Texas Water Development Board back in 2013 and 14. So I'm recommending that we continue with Cruz Hogan. It'll cost us less money because we don't have to hire a new engineer to go out and redo all the surveying and redo all the information that's already in the original design. It'll make it easier and quicker to get this done.
Questions? If not, is there a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
All those in favor say aye. Motion carries.
Next item under item H, discussion and
Thank you.
possible action to authorize staff to negotiate a month-to-month agreement with Gold Star Petroleum to continue to supply the city with unleaded gasoline and low sulfur diesel fuel for a 6-month period by index made up of composite posted prices of the companies published in the RAC Report of Oil Price Information Service. The delivered price may not exceed the OPIS price plus negotiated markup up and down throughout the period of the agreement. Prices will be adjusted on a daily basis on the OPIS RAC average price from the report on the day of delivery to the city of San Juan, Texas, and authorize EM to execute all related documents and budget amendment as needed. Mayor, Commissioners, this item is brought before you because we're having issues with the pumps over at the sanitation department, but at this point, we need to continue with this on a month-to-month basis, whereas we're working on a, going out for bids, Mr. Gonzalez? It is, the system is not compatible with the reading versus, and along with the pumps.
Pardon me? Yes, our current fuel contract expired September 30th of 2021. So we've kind of been going on month to month, but we don't have an agreement. And the current infrastructure that we have out there, which is the tanks and the pumps and the nozzles, actually belong to the fuel vendor. So in the meanwhile, till we fix the issue with our fuel system, which is no longer up to date, if we can't get it up to date, it's basically obsolete. It still works on an OXP system that they're no longer making updates. So this will allow us to work out the specs for the new tanks, the new pumps that are compatible with whatever fuel system we're going to buy. For the meanwhile, they did go out there and they figured out a problem that we're having on why the fuel pumps aren't registering, and they only stopped giving us 8 gallons when they're supposed to be giving us 50 gallons of diesel. Mr. Soto should be receiving, if he hasn't received already, a quote to repair that. So we'll address that issue right away so we can get a better accountability of what fuel is being used by what department and not averaging like they're doing right now. But we are going to have to replace that fuel system out there with a new one that's upgradable and we can work with, because the Petrovend AFC system that we have out there is no longer upgradable. It's obsolete. In fact, it's being phased out. They're adding it. They have 3 new models at 100, 200, and 300. They're recommending the 200 because the 300 has retail that we don't need to do anything with retail. So with the 200, we'll address all our needs. So that's something that we need to put specs together for out the bid. And I've been assisting Leroy and Ms. Maldonado put those specs together so we can go out and make sure that everything's compatible with the tanks, the fuel pumps, and the actual system. So that's where we stand right now. So this one will allow us to continue to buy fuel from Gold Star on a month-to-month basis without them pulling the tanks whenever they want, because right now they're their tanks. We don't have a contract. They can decide to come and take the tanks and the pumps and the nozzles whenever they want.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you, sir.
On the resolution, we have considered the adoption of a resolution of a grant application with the Lower Rio Grande Valley Development Council for a regional solid waste grant program. That's Ms., is that you? Sí, Ms. Cynthia Puente?
Cynthia Puente. So we are going to go ahead and apply with your approval for the Lrgbdc grant, also funded by TCEQ. We are going to be seeking $24,000 for the recycling center and source reduction. We are going to request, we have about 150 residents that are still on our wait list for residential recycling containers. So we will be seeking the 150 with an additional 5 6 cubic yard containers and an additional 5 300-gallon recycling containers. So that we maxed out our match. We will be at 24,000 and our match is going to be 4,000 for the signage of those containers and any adjustments that they may need. If you guys have any questions?
Did you have 150 right now currently on hold?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And we continue to have, residents sign up every day.
You know how far back that law goes? Like, have they been on, like, for a few months or a few
So
years?
we have some that have been on the wait list since 2019, and I believe we just hit 2020 when they started to distribute previous purchase. So we have to buy in bulk to get the most for the money. And right now you have to order, the minimum is 144. So we're doing 150 to get the stamp and make sure that we distribute them according to the list.
That being said, is there a motion to approve? Is there a second? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, ma'am.
Next item, consider adoption of a resolution whereas on May 13, 2020, the state of Texas, through the Office of the Attorney General and Negotiation Group for Texas Political Subdivision, entered into an agreement entitled Texas Opioid Abatement Fund Council and Settlement Allocation, term sheet approving the allocation of any and all opioid settlement funds within the state of Texas. Commissioner, this is, as it reads on the agenda, it says, on May the 13, 2020, the state of Texas, through the Office of the Attorney General and Negotiation Group for the Texas Political Subdivision, enter into an agreement entitled Texas Opioid Abatement Fund Council and Settlement Allocation Term Sheet approving the allocation of any and all opioid settlements funds within the state of Texas. What that means is that these people are, as they know, this is a problem with the opioid problems, and they're looking into settling here pretty soon with the state of Texas or with the companies. And if you look at the Exhibit B, page 155, they have all the cities listed, as many as they can participate. So the city of San Juan will probably, once all of this is over and with, it will probably be getting about anywhere between 28,000, 27,000, around that figure. Now, this monies can be utilized for any type of project that has to do with educational, but having to come with a police department. So this is a little bit of monies that will be coming this way that we can take advantage for educating and the community for any type of projects that they may use having to do with this type of educational.
Any questions for Mr. Arjona? If not, is there a motion to approve? Is there a second? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Under consent agenda tonight, we have item A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I. Just so you'll know, under item I, can we pull out July 27, 2021 minutes? Those were not ready when we did this, or it'll be ready at the next meeting. So we can just pull that one item out, Mayor.
That being said, on July 27, 2020, right? 21.
Yes.
Okay, other than that, is there anything else we need to amend or modify? Amend or modify? If not, is there a motion to approve? Is there a second? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Thank you.
Executive session, Mayor, we have the San Juan City Commission will convene executive session in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act versus Texas statutes and co-annotated government code, Chapter 551.071, consultation with attorney. Tonight we have 551.087, economic development negotiations. With this, a couple of projects, Project Try and Project Try-O, and the other one is consultation with attorney on personal matters having to do with city management.
Gotcha. All right. Is there a motion to enter executive session? I'll second that. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
We will
Mayor.
enter.
Before you go into executive, I just want a clarification on item number 2. Under the executive session, is that has to do with the grievance that was filed?
That's
by-
correct.
By me?
That's correct.
Okay, and is that possible that we can keep it under open?
That's not a hearing at this time.
Okay, but as discussion in reference to that, does it fall under section 2 under the Texas Administrative Code?
If, actually, what we set it for today is to get a plan of action from the commission to see whether or not they need any additional information. So that's why it's set right now for that.
So it doesn't, excuse me, it doesn't fall under the section 2 under the
No, and
Texas Administrative Code where
Yeah.
I
If
have the
you're-
right to have it as the discussion on open.
They're not going to talk about the actual grievance. They're going to want to know if there's any additional. So right now, they're seeing it for the very first time. So we're just getting some direction as to how they want to proceed, if they need any other additional information. So I understand that the hearing that you're requesting, you want to be an open record, that's not happening today because they haven't collected all information that they would need. So that's the discussion right now is how they want to proceed. Do they need any more information or not? Is pretty
so
much
any-
all that's going to be discussed.
So any deliberation, verbal exchange in reference to this item does not fall under,
There won't be any deliberations as to your grievance or his response, whether or not they need any information, any additional information from any other third parties before they start doing that deliberation. But I'll note that you want that to be an open record, and then we can take it from there.
okay, because I just want to clarify the deliberation doesn't really going to be, but under the Attorney General ruling means a verbal exchange during the meeting between the quorum. And so it doesn't really have to do about making a decision. It's just in reference to having a verbal discussion about those items
So your request again is,
for it to be open.
and under what rule again?
Oh, it's going to be under the section, Texas Administrative Code 551.074, Section 2. And then we have the Attorney General's ruling. L is in Lincoln, O is in Ocean, -88-52, that upon my request, any deliberation, meaning verbal exchange.
I'll take a look at that right now, and what they'll do, they'll proceed with the economic development item, and then before we even have any discussion on that, I'll go ahead and let you know whether or not that'd be taken in open form or not. I'll let you know before we even start. That way you can note your objection.
Thank you, sir.
Well, Mr. Palacios, well, I guess at this point, if he wants to talk about open session, I mean, is there any way, I'd make a recommendation under executive session, under 2, under personal matters, to take no action. And simple reason, because we don't have another member of the commission here. And I really feel that it's strongly that all of us need to be present before any information is,
And just so the commission is aware, I know that you guys don't know whenever we put these items on, but it was not a hearing. This is the first time that it comes before the commission, so I just needed to know if there's any other direction that's required by the city attorney or Ms. Cordero, so that way we can collect that information, so that way we don't piecemeal, then we have our hearing then. So that was not the purpose. So it's related to the grievance, but we weren't hearing the grievance right now. It's just whether or not, are they fine with the information that's been collected thus forth, which is the only thing that I understand is a response and a complaint, and that's all there is. There have been no other third parties that have been spoken to at all.
Right, and then just to clarify for my understanding of it doesn't have to be about, but it's just any communication with a discussion about those items. Not necessarily that you're going to make a ruling or that you're going to have an opinion or that they're going to ask for evidence. It's just, according to the statute, it's basically any discussion.
I'll look at what you're citing, but if that's the case, if they don't, we don't have to have that, we don't have to get direction now. We can reset that for another date.
That's
not
what
a
I'm
problem.
saying, Mr. Palacios, I don't know, well, we can take a vote. My recommendation is take no action for the simple reason that we're missing one more member of the commission. And the reason being is because I want to make sure that everyone's on the same page, everyone's getting the proper information regarding to this grievance, okay? That there's no lack of communication between the commission, with the attorney, with the individuals that are involved. So that's my stand right now, as far as making it open. Under executive session 2, I make a motion, we take no action at this time. Is there a second? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. So at this time, under executive session 2, we're taking no action.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. So at this time, we'll be entering executive session, at 7:10 PM. Thank you.
Back from executive session, and I wanted to open this up at 7:49. Go ahead.
Yes, Mr. Commissioner Villegas and Mr. Guajardo and Ms. Nina Santillan. As coming back from executive session, we had that item on the economic development negotiation, which is deliberation regarding financial incentives to a business prospect Project Try and Project Trial.
I make a motion to have our city manager as to continue with negotiations as discussed in executive session.
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Motion
All right,
to
now,
7:50.
we make a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second,
We're now adjourned at, you said right?
7:50.
Okay. We're now adjourned at 7:50 PM.